Hello my motor enthusiasts. Today we dive into a spellbinding chapter of Formula One history, the 1999 season. You're tuned into F1 Motor Fever podcast.
Hello Enzo, 1999, wasn't that the season filled with unexpected twists and nail-biting races?
Exactly, William. It was the 50th year of Formula One, and it certainly gave us moments to remember. Perhaps none more dramatic than Johnny Herbert's shock win at the Nürburgring.
The Nürburgring race. With ever-changing conditions, it was a strategist's nightmare, wasn't it?
Spot on. From mid-grid to victory, Herbert's decision to switch to wet tyres was nothing short of genius. And remember, it was an emotional win, his last in Formula One.
And it wasn't just about Herbert. The season was crucial for the championship battle between Mika Hakkinen and Eddie Irvine, right?
Indeed. The tension was palpable all the way to the final race in Suzuka. Hakkinen, with McLaren, clinching his second consecutive title. What a season to reflect on.
Absolutely. The resilience, the tactics, and those unforgettable racing moments. Let's unpack all of that today.
Hello there, I'm Enzo, your guide through the thrilling world of Formula One, right here on F1 Motor Fever podcast. Joining me today is my esteemed colleague and seasoned commentator, William.
Pleasure to be here, Enzo. Looking forward to diving into some truly spectacular racing history with you.
We're thrilled to bring you this podcast every day, sharing insights that keep you on the edge of your seat. If you're enjoying our show, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and perhaps leave us a comment. Sharing with your friends and family really supports us and keeps our engines running.
Absolutely. Your support fuels our passion and helps us bring even more exciting content your way.
And speaking of exciting, you won't believe what I'm about to reveal about the 1999 Formula One season. It's not just about the races, it's the untold stories that shape the sport in ways you can't imagine. Stick around.
That's right, it's going to be a rollercoaster of emotions and adrenaline.
Full throttle. Venturing back to the 1999 season brings us to one of the most unpredictable races, the Nürburgring. Amidst a weekend of changeable conditions, the Stewart'S Grand Prix team really stole the show, didn't they?
Absolutely. Starting from mid-grid, Johnny Herbert and Rubens Barrichello had a dynamic race. Herbert, in particular, made a pivotal decision switching to wet tyres, which ultimately led to his sensational victory.
Yes, and it wasn't just about the win itself, but the sheer resilience Herbert showed. Overcoming severe injuries from his earlier career to claim that final Formula One victory was nothing short of heroic. It was a defining moment not just for him but for the entire Stewart team.
It certainly was. And let's not forget the conditions they were racing in. Herbert mentioned noticing the wind on the grid and a raindrop-shaped cloud that hinted at the impending weather chaos. That kind of quick adaptation to weather is what sets great drivers apart.
Indeed, and the strategic choices made that day at the Nürburgring were crucial. While Herbert opted for wet tyres, Barrichello stayed on slicks a bit longer, which cost him some time, yet he still managed to support the team's success by finishing third.
That race was a fine display of strategy and skill, a thrilling part of the season that also set the stage for the intense championship showdown. It just shows how every decision, every moment on the track contributes to the unfolding drama of the season.
Absolutely, and that season was a rollercoaster from start to finish. The final race deciding the championship is something that will always be remembered by fans of the sport. It's stories like these that define Formula One's rich history. Full throttle. The 1999 European Grand Prix truly encapsulates the unpredictable and electrifying essence of Formula One. Johnny's strategy to switch to wet tyres just at the right moment, and the team's anxious moments as the race unfolded, it's like a finely crafted drama, isn't it?
Absolutely, the decision-making under such high pressure is what makes or breaks a race. And as Dave Redding pointed out, back then, a lot of it was guesswork without the advanced tools like radar that we have today. It was incredibly raw and real, which added an extra layer of suspense to the whole scenario.
Indeed, and it's fascinating how these moments not only define a race but also a season. The team's joy and relief in achieving a victory amidst such challenging conditions reflects the deep emotional investment they have in the sport. It makes you appreciate the behind-the-scenes efforts that go into every race.
That's true. And each decision, like Johnny coming in for that pit stop just as the rain began, is a gamble that could have monumental consequences for the team. It's these stories of human endeavor and tactical brilliance that really bring the sport to life.
Wow. I can't help but think how amazing the world of Formula One is. Such emotions, such competitiveness, such adrenaline. It's quite something, isn't it? What do you reckon, my lovely audience? Are you enjoying the content? Don't forget to hit the like button, alright? I'm absolutely loving these updates, and I hope you are too. Thanks ever so much for tuning in. Let's carry on. Full throttle. Reflecting on these memories, it's clear that the sense of camaraderie and the scale of celebration in teams like Stewart's Grand Prix was quite remarkable. The fact that Jackie organized champagne for everyone the next day, turning it into a half-day celebration, really illustrates the family atmosphere within the team.
And that shows a lot about the spirit of Formula One, doesn't it? It's not just about the drivers or the cars, but also about the people behind the scenes and the bonds they form over the years. The emotional connection and history they share really add depth to these victories.
Absolutely, and speaking of personal connections, Rubens Barrichello's reflections on the season are quite poignant. Despite the disappointment at the Nürburgring due to his tyre choice, his overall experience with the team helped highlight his capabilities and ultimately paved the way for his future successes.
Indeed, it highlights the fine margins in Formula One, where a single decision can have such lasting implications. And Barrichello's mention of leading races like the Brazilian Grand Prix and performing well at Magna Hours shows how pivotal those moments were for his career.
It's fascinating to hear about these internal dynamics and personal anecdotes, like the story between Jackie Stewart and David Tremayne. The playful banter over clothing, leading to a promise involving tartan trousers, adds a lighter, human touch to the often intense world of racing.
It certainly does, and it's those human elements that really enrich our understanding of the sport. The personalities, the light-hearted moments, they all play a part in shaping the narrative of Formula One, making it about more than just speed and competition, but also about character and community.
The intricate stories of triumph and tribulation from the 1999 season really showcase the drama of Formula One. The conditions at various races played such a pivotal role, affecting outcomes dramatically. For instance, during the race at Nürburgring, while Stewart GP celebrated, McLaren and Ferrari faced their own set of challenges with tyre strategies and pit stop blunders.
Absolutely, and it's worth noting how these seemingly small errors, like a missing tyre in a pit stop, can have such profound effects on the race outcome. Ferrari's painfully slow pit stop essentially cost Irvine crucial points, highlighting the precision required in every element of the sport.
Indeed, and then there's the heartbreak for Jordan and Heinz-Harald Frentzen, leading the race only to have the engine shut down after a pit stop due to an anti-stall system mishap. It's a stark reminder of how technical complexities can pivot the fate of a race.
That's the essence of Formula One, isn't it? The blend of human skill, technical prowess, and sometimes sheer luck. Frentzen's experience illustrates the thin line between success and disaster, where every second and every decision counts tremendously.
It certainly does. And let's not forget the subplots and strategies, like those last-minute dashes in practice sessions that turn the tables. Sam Michael's recount of Frentzen's qualifying lap, going purple in all sectors with nearly no practice, is electrifying. It shows the unexpected can sometimes lead to spectacular results.
Yes, and these stories provide such a rich tapestry that illustrates not just the competitiveness, but also the innovation and resilience within Formula One. Each season, each race holds its own unique narrative, full of potential for legendary status.
And that's what keeps us all hooked, isn't it? The unpredictable nature, coupled with the strategic minds and daring decisions. It's a thrilling spectacle every time the engines start. Delving deeper into the 1999 season and specifically the European Grand Prix at Nürburgring, it's fascinating how technology and team dynamics played pivotal roles. There was this complex interaction between the anti-stall technology and driver input that resulted in Frentzen's heartbreaking retirement. The anti-stall was supposed to provide better traction by managing the clutch and throttle, but a failure to deactivate it led to the engine shutting down.
Could you give some examples of how such technical nuances have influenced other races?
Certainly. Let's consider the introduction of the drag reduction system, or DRS, which allows a driver to adjust the rear wing for better speed on straights. Initially, this led to several drivers overshooting their braking points as they were adapting to the increased speed and altered aerodynamics. Over time, teams and drivers mastered its use, turning it into a strategic element for overtaking rather than just a speed booster.
Interesting, and what about the team dynamics? How have they influenced outcomes in other situations?
Team dynamics can dramatically shape race outcomes. Take, for example, the strategic calls during the 2010 Canadian Grand Prix. Teams had to choose between a one-stop and a two-stop strategy based on tyre degradation. Those who managed their team's strategy effectively, like McLaren, secured a win through better tyre management and pit stop timing. Returning to the 1999 scenario, Mark Gallagher from Jordan highlighted how internal team communications could sway public perception. Post-race, they chose to protect Frentzen in the media, emphasizing a team-centric approach to handling issues. This protective stance over individual blame has been a common approach in teams aiming to maintain harmony and focus.
It shows how intricate the relationship between technology, team strategy, and media management can be in Formula One. Each element is crucial in crafting the narratives we see unfold during the racing season.
Reflecting on the 1999 Formula One season, it's clear how each race added layers to the championship narrative. Louise Goodman pointed out that a championship run is composed of both triumphs and setbacks. It's the driver with the fewest setbacks who often claims the title. This perspective brings a holistic view to what many remember merely as moments of failure or success.
That's a poignant observation. It underscores that while singular events like Irvine's slow pit stop are dramatic, they are just one piece of a much larger puzzle. How do you see the role of resilience playing out in such high-pressure situations?
Resilience is absolutely central. Sam Michael's remarks about Heinz-Harald Frentzen highlight this. Despite the setbacks and what ifs, the spirit of the team and the driver's resolve are what resonate the most. Frentzen's attitude post-race, focusing on team unity and shared goals, exemplifies how resilience isn't just about bouncing back individually, but as a collective.
And it's the collective effort that often propels teams to overachieve, as noted by Damon Hill. He mentioned the naturalness of making mistakes when a team finds itself in an unexpectedly advantageous position, suggesting that growth often comes hand in hand with challenges.
Speaking of challenges, the 1999 title showdown was not just about the on-track action. There's this fascinating interlude during the penultimate round in Malaysia, where Schumacher, returning from injury, outshines everyone in qualifying. It was as much a testament to his driving skill as it was a dramatic statement of intent, showing that he was still a contender, despite not being in the championship fight at that point.
The dynamics within teams and between rival drivers add such depth to the narrative of a season. Each player, whether directly in contention for the title or not, influences the outcome in myriad ways. It's these interconnections and the personal resilience of the drivers that make Formula One a compelling sport to follow.
The 1999 Malaysian Grand Prix was a pivotal moment in Formula One history, illustrating not just the competitive spirit of the drivers but also the intense complexity of team strategies and regulations. Michael Schumacher's return to racing after his injury and his decision to support his teammate Eddie Irvine in the championship battle was a significant moment. It demonstrated how team tactics play a crucial role in the outcomes of races and, ultimately, championships.
It's quite fascinating, isn't it? The dynamics within a team can sometimes overshadow even the most thrilling on-track battles. What happened post-race in Malaysia added yet another layer of drama, didn't it?
Absolutely. The post-race disqualification of the Ferraris over a technicality with the barge board was a major controversy. Initially, it seemed to hand Mika Hakkinen and McLaren the championship, only for the decision to be overturned later. This twist kept the championship alive, setting the stage for a dramatic final showdown in Suzuka.
The reversal of such decisions must have a profound impact on the teams and drivers involved. How do they typically handle such high-pressure situations?
Well, from what David Tremaine mentioned, the pressure was intense. The whole scenario with Michael Schumacher being called back to race because he was seen fit enough after playing football shows the unexpected pressures and decisions teams face. Then, in the Ferrari garage, you had this palpable tension, a moment captured vividly when Claudio Berro described the scene post-race with Ross Brawn and Jean Todt. The silence and uncertainty were telling, until the decision to hold a press conference was made.
And all this while, the media played a huge role, escalating the tension with constant updates and speculations.
Yes, and that's a reminder of the unique pressures in Formula One, where every action and decision is under intense scrutiny. The build-up to the final race in Suzuka was charged with expectations and speculations. It wasn't just a race, it was a culmination of a season's worth of strategies, controversies, and incredible driving skill. The psychological dimension of Formula One is as crucial as the mechanical. Eddie Irvine's struggle with the immense pressure of competing at the top level was evident in the 1999 season. It's interesting how even amidst team success, personal battles can take a toll on a driver.
Indeed, the weight of expectations can be overwhelming. It highlights a less discussed aspect of the sport, the mental and emotional resilience required to handle the pressure of being in such a high-stakes environment.
Marco Fainello's recount of the Magna Cowers incident points to another layer of team dynamics and personal challenges. Irvine was comfortable and jovial as a second driver, but the shift to a championship contending position clearly altered his demeanor. The sudden change from supporting to leading can be a daunting transition.
That's a profound observation. It shows that the role a driver is accustomed to plays a significant part in how they handle pressure. The contrast in Irvine's approach before and after Schumacher's accident is quite telling.
Absolutely, and Louise Goodman brings another dimension to this, noting the difference in handling pressure between someone who has won a championship and someone who has not. The drive to clinch that elusive first title can be both a motivator and a massive source of pressure.
It's a delicate balance, isn't it? Having the ambition and the drive while managing the psychological stresses that come with it.
Precisely. As we delve into these personal aspects of racing, it becomes clear that Formula One is not just about the fastest car or the most skilled driver. It's also about who can handle the pressure, who can stay mentally resilient, and who can cope with the ups and downs of a grueling season. That final race in 1999, the anticipation and pressure were palpable. There was a strong sense that Ferrari desperately wanted the championship, but many felt it should be Michael Schumacher's title, not Eddie Irvine's. It was almost as if Eddie winning wasn't the ideal narrative Ferrari or the fans envisioned.
I see that point, but perhaps there's another angle to consider here. It's not just about the preconceived narratives or what the team hoped would happen. Each race and each title chase brings its own dynamics. Irvine stepping up in Schumacher's absence showed a different kind of team strength, didn't it?
True, Irvine stepping up was crucial, but even then, the sentiment around the paddock, as some have mentioned, was that it wasn't quite the fairy tale Ferrari had hoped for. It's intriguing how perceptions and stories pre-built around star drivers influence expectations.
Indeed, but isn't the unpredictability of outcomes what makes Formula One so thrilling? That a so-called cocky little chap from Northern Ireland could almost clinch the title is fascinating. It challenges the narrative, and sometimes, that's exactly what the sport needs to keep it vibrant and unpredictable.
While that unpredictability is a draw, I can't help but feel that the foundations laid by star drivers and their associated narratives do more to fuel the sport's popularity. Look at Mark Arnold's account of Mika Hakkinen's performance at Suzuka. His familiarity with the track and previous wins there boosted his confidence significantly. It wasn't just about being unpredictable, it was his track record that made his win resonate so well.
That's a fair point. Still, think about the broader implications of having different winners and unexpected outcomes. It broadens the appeal of the sport, engaging more fans who might root for the underdogs or enjoy the drama of a tight championship race.
There is merit in what you're saying about broadening the sport's appeal. I'll need to ponder this a bit more. The balance between star-driven narratives and the underdog stories is indeed a delicate one.
That's fine, it's normal to have different viewpoints. The important thing is to keep an open mind and consider all perspectives. After all, every race writes its own story, and each season brings new tales to tell.
Agreed, and that's what keeps the discussions about this sport so lively and engaging. I'll definitely give it more thought. Reflecting on 1999, it's poignant how a single moment, like the incident at Sepang, can pivot the entire championship. Enrico Zanarini's reflection that the Herbert curb incident was a key moment is quite profound. It underscores the thin margins that define seasons.
Absolutely, it's the slimmest of margins that often dictate whether a championship is won or lost. It's fascinating, and somewhat tragic, from a managerial perspective to come so close, yet fall short because of a single, perhaps unnoticed, incident.
And that chat between Eddie and Enrico the following year at Suzuka, it's a testament to the lingering thoughts that what might have been never really leaves you. It's quite something to think about, how past races continue to influence the thoughts of those involved.
It really highlights the emotional and mental investments that go into this sport. The what ifs, the close calls, they don't just fade away. They stick with you, shaping how you view the race, the season, and sometimes even decisions years later.
It's also a reminder of how every point counts, how every race can contribute to the final outcome in ways that might not seem evident at the time. It all adds up, and sometimes the weight of what's accumulated isn't felt until it's all over.
That's what makes Formula One so compelling. The strategy, the precision, but also the unpredictability and the human elements that come into play. Each season is a narrative woven from all these episodes, each carrying weight, each pivotal in its own right.
Precisely. As we near the end of our discussion today, it's clear that the tales from 1999 not only highlight the drama of Formula One but also the intricate human emotions and strategic depth that make it more than just a motorsport. It's a human drama, played out at 200 miles per hour. William, fancy having a butcher's at some of the latest banter on the internet about Formula One?
Right, let's see what the chatter's about today. User FewCollar227 posted, quote, head-to-head results at the halfway stage. Any surprises here, unquote.
The mid-season crunch. What's the word from the ground?
Well, user Wenger Baby commented, quote, expected the difference between Alonso and Stroll to be bigger, so that's the biggest surprise for form, unquote. And then, user Formula 13 added a bit more context, saying, quote, Alonso's had some pretty rough luck recently, with poor strategies in Britain and being blocked in Monaco. Just general Aston woes, to be honest. I don't know what he did last year to avoid their awful strategy work, but the magic effect has seemingly worn out at this point, unquote.
Blimey, that's quite a take. Anything else?
Yes, another user, Massey, said, quote, Stroll isn't anywhere near as bad as some people make him out to be, unquote. which sparked a bit of a debate. User The Shiny Blade thinks, quote, "It's just that Alonso also is relatively bad this season," unquote. Whereas Strelanitis argued it might be, quote, "more likely that Alonso, a 42-year-old former world champion who has defied aging, has finally started to come back down to earth," unquote.
Sounds like opinions are split down the middle.
Absolutely, and it doesn't end there. Adept Amateur made a reference to the Dale Jr. Download podcast, saying, quote, "When he retired from NASCAR it was because he reached an age where he felt he couldn't do any better," unquote. Reflecting on how common it is for drivers to lose pace as they age.
That's a poignant point. The blend of youth and experience always stirs up the pot in Formula One.
Indeed. And despite mixed opinions, it's clear everyone's locked in on how this season's turning out. It's the unpredictability and the personal stories that keep everyone hooked. What do you reckon?
Absolutely, it's the drama off and on the track that keeps us all tuning in week after week. Thanks for tuning into F1 Motor Fever podcast today. We've had a riveting discussion about the nail-biting scenarios of the 1999 Formula One season and some tasty tidbits from the fanbase. It's been brilliant having you all with us. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our episodes. Your support really makes a difference. Share our content with your mates and on your social media. Let's get everyone in on the action. And if you've enjoyed today's episode, why not drop us a comment? We'd love to hear your thoughts.
And remember, folks, keep those engines revving for our next episode. We're here every day, bringing you the freshest insights and the juiciest debates from the world of Formula One. Who knows what's around the next corner? You'll have to tune in to find out. Could be something spectacular.
We're truly grateful for your company and look forward to having you join us next time. Until then,
pedal to the metal, keep your gaze on the road. Our channel's content is pure gold.